7 meals for just $1? Learn about all the ways the food bank drives efficiency from every donation and more as we go backstage with their Director of Philanthropy. But before we start, take a moment and subscribe to the channel so we continue to highlight all the amazing nonprofits making a difference. Let's dive in.
Hey guys, my name is Mary DeMarini. I'm the Director of Philanthropy here at the San Antonio Food Bank. Our food bank's been around for a little over 40 years. We're part of a network of food banks that sit under Feeding America, which is our national organization. Our food bank, even though it's called San Antonio Food Bank, we actually serve 29 counties in Texas. So you can see the map behind me. Each one of these white shapes is a county in Texas. So here's San Antonio, right here in Bexar County. Each of the red apples you see is a hub that sits under the San Antonio Food Bank. So we have the Frio County Food Bank. This space works with a lot of farmers, so working to get a lot of that fresh produce in that comes and goes out to families. We have the New Braunfels Food Bank, and then all the way kind of up northwest, we have the Concho Valley Food Bank in San Angelo, Texas. A little bit about our food bank and how it works. So we're serving about 105,000 people every single week. So our mission is to fight hunger and feed hope. So what does that mean? So fighting hunger, at the heart of that is food. So we have food coming in every single day, food that's donated, and we're working with over 500 separate nonprofits. So they're separate nonprofits that partner with us. They're spread out through this entire service area. State of Texas is big, and so they actually get the food from us. So we act as like a bank. So we're like their bank, and they're pooling the resources from us to actually give to those individuals and families who are receiving the product at the end of the day. What makes the San Antonio Food Bank unique is that kind of our philosophy is giving a hand up, not a hand out. And so how do you do that? We have a strategy that we call food for today, food for tomorrow, and food for a lifetime. So food for today is like, I'm hungry, how do I get food? So that's gonna be giving food out through our partner agencies, through emergency distributions, through different programs that we have, like seniors programs and children's programs, and we're making sure that if someone needs food, they're getting food. Food for tomorrow is how do we help stabilize someone's life? So we've gotten them food for today, now how do we help stabilize their situation? And so we have a whole team of client service representatives who actually help people sign up for federal benefits. So that's going to be SNAP, which is kind of like food stamps, WIC, Women, Infants, and Children, Medicaid, anything like that. Our team knows that whole landscape and will kind of see and understand what someone could be eligible for, and then they actually sit down and step by step help those people sign up for the benefits. So it's actually a really complicated process. It's like more complicated than doing your taxes on your own. Like we like to say, we're kind of like the TurboTax of signing up for federal benefits. We know what to say because if you accidentally fill something out wrong, all you know is you get a rejection letter and you don't know why. And it might not be because you weren't eligible, you just might have filled something out wrong. So we're helping people get those benefits. So our food bank actually helps people sign up for $250 million worth of federal benefits. So that's a lot of money going to families who need it to help stabilize it. And that's a lot of money that's coming from the federal government and going back into our local community. And so that's food for tomorrow. Food for a lifetime is how do we create sustainability? And so we have a couple different strategies there. Our main one is our workforce training programs. So we have, I'm in a big warehouse right now, so we have a warehouse training program. So basically anyone can sign up for these. You know, we work with the city and we'll help recruit people who are wanting to maybe get a better job, a better wage, get a sort of skill set that can be marketed. And we'll do a warehouse training program where we forklift certify them, teach them to work with inventory, teach and working with product and offboarding it with, you know, the trucks and everything like that. we have a culinary training program, and so it's basically a full-blown student course that's taught by one of our great chefs here, and they learn everything from the business side of a restaurant to the nutrition side, the cooking, everything. And so those training programs, we train them and then we actually help place them into jobs with that training. So that's one of our Food for a Lifetime. Another is growing food. So our campus here at the San Antonio Food Bank is 40 acres. 20 acres of it is an active farm. So we're growing fresh produce here. We operate 50 acres south of downtown San Antonio called Mission San Juan. We're growing food there. And so growing food and teaching people about food is kind of the final way. So we have a nutrition, health, and wellness team that's going out into the community every day and teaching about how to eat healthy, how to cook. When you get a bag of vegetables, what does a good diet look like? Our community has a lot of heart disease, suffers from diabetes, from obesity, and so trying to educate and better people's lives at that holistic level, which will help impact other components of their life.
So how do you find all those other organizations? Do they apply, or how do they?
There's a couple different levels of standards that they need to meet. But then, we just basically come to sign an agreement with them. And so as food comes into the food bank here, it then goes on to basically like an online store. And those partners can see what inventory have, what they need based on how many people they're serving, the frequency in which they're serving them. And then they'll place an order. And so we'll build the order and deliver it to them, or they'll come and pick it up.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So behind me, you see a large group of volunteers. So looks like they're building food boxes that are going to go out to individuals, to seniors. And the volunteers are a mix of corporate partners, so groups coming in, individuals, schools, things like that. We get volunteers from all walks of life. And some of our volunteers are also clients who are receiving food, giving it back. We have about 2,000 volunteers every single week. So we have 2 shifts a day, Monday through Saturday. Here in our warehouse, also off-site, we operate 4 kitchens total. In our service area, we have off-site distributions. And so volunteers help us maintain low overhead. So we're really, really proud. We have a 2% overhead, which for a nonprofit is incredible. And so we couldn't do it without the help of our volunteers. And we like to say there's 4 ways to help the San Antonio Food Bank, and it's food, time, money, and voice. So food, donating food. So doing community-led food drives. We have our red bins that you can put in your place of business or collect food at your house. Bring it here, and that helps with our non-perishable food inventory. And food drives is one of the best ways for us to get a good, diverse selection of non-perishable food items, because a lot that we're getting in from big retailers, they're big pallets of one big pallet of pasta. But when there's more of like household items that are getting food, it's just a good mix of different types of things. So that's food. Time, what you see behind us, giving us a gift of time. So volunteering, there's so many different things you can do. You can be here in our warehouse building boxes. You can be in our sorting room, sorting through food that's been donated and checking it and categorizing it. You can volunteer out on our farm and garden, so planting, harvesting, volunteer in one of our kitchens, so making meals. We work with a lot of the local schools, and we help provide their free and reduced breakfasts and lunches. And so we have kitchen crews in there every day working to make meals for kids. So it's really a good mix of different ways to get engaged from a volunteer standpoint. We will say the dollar will go the furthest, so money. So $1, we can stretch it into 7 meals. And so when you're donating your funds, and again, we maintain that low overhead, so you really have a huge impact with the dollars that you're donating to us. And when it's given to our general operating, we're able to fill wherever those gaps are, because feeding 105,000 people every single week. I mean, the need is constant. We're constantly always just behind the threshold and trying to meet that demand. And finally, voice. Here today, spreading the word on our mission, how to give help, how to get help, what we do, just more than giving out food, our different programs, and workforce training and things like that, so that maybe someone who needs help can see it and come and they didn't know we had that to offer, or someone who wants to give help to know the impact and breadth of what our mission does.
So is this all, does it just have like set, like organized by SKU, or how do you guys kind of like pre-know where they're going? Like is it?
Well, we have a whole inventory management team.
That's what I figured. I was like, this seems very intense for.
But you know, with barcodes and
Yeah.
every pound, everything's accounted for.
Very cool.
So we get a lot of fresh produce in. We strive to have anywhere around 40 to 50% of perishable food items. So looking at vegetables,
Yeah.
working with farmers to get that food on the tables for families. I will say, the only thing you can't film is if you see the people wearing all white, and those people are part of our Texas Second Chance program.
Oh, very
And
cool.
so they come in every day, and so they're coming in from the state penitentiary. They're nonviolent offenders who are nearing parole, and so they go through a whole process on their end to come to the food bank, and they are in, we have 2 different training programs for them. So in our warehouse, we have our warehouse training program that's specifically for them. So they're getting, again, forklift certified, going through, working in the warehouse. And then we have our a culinary training program for them also. So going in the kitchen, working in the kitchen, doing the program. And we put them with our workforce team so that when they are nearing release, we make sure they're ready to apply for a job. They have that skill set, they have the training, and we'll help place them in a job. And I think why we support that program and have it here is because just the rate of people going back into the system, because once you have a felony on your record, it can be really hard to get a job, and just maybe you were gone for a long time and the world's changing a lot. And so we just want to help enable people, and like the name says, Texas Second Chance, make sure that people are getting second chances, and we're trying to help just better their lives in the community with that.
That's so cool. I had no idea. I think that's one of my favorite things about doing this so far is like discovering, like, oh, it's not just food, right? It's way more. It's more of like a community hub. There's like benefits packages. There's all sorts of things that are vital to more than just, you know, it goes
This is
beyond.
a good thing. So our campus is 40 acres. I'm like, don't quote me on the exact square
Sorry, we'll like
footage.
eyeball it, but like.
Oh,
so-
one of our guys will know. But probably a little under 200,000 square feet is our this entire warehouse. So yeah, we built this facility in 2007, and we expanded this half that we just came into in 2011. And you know, it's kind of a bad thing when a food bank grows, because that means that the need is big, and so. But I think, you know, we use a lot of this space for our programs also. Where when people request to do a food drive, they'll get one of these bins. This is our teaching garden.
Oh, wow.
It's like, ooh, it's bright out here.
I know. It's like a little warmer than the freezer.
So we are growing some produce and herbs here, but this is really, the purpose of it is for teaching. So we have a lot of schools that come through. You know, San Antonio being a large city, we want to make sure children know about growing food and different ways of growing food. So we have aquaponics, hydroponics. We have our water catchment system. So we have these 2 big tanks here and 2 larger tanks on the back side of our building. And so that's capturing rainwater that falls on our roof. We have just traditional kind of soil-based gardening here. And now we'll walk around to our greenhouse.
Oh, there's livestock too. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll go there.
That's funny.
Hello. So this is our greenhouse. So this is an aquaponics tank. You can see the fish in the water there. and looks like they're prepping some planting. We have our hydroponics here. So we have the goats here, and then we have chickens over here. We only use the chickens' eggs, otherwise they're just here for educational purposes. And we're partnered with another nonprofit called Daisy Cares, which supports animal welfare. We collect pet food. We're one of the largest pet food collectors in the city because a lot of the clients we serve, if they need food and they have a pet,
wow,
they need help with their pet food. And so especially with a lot of seniors, they'll sacrifice buying medication or things they really need in order to feed their pet, which anyone who has a dog or a cat or whatever the animal is, they know it's part of the family, like a child. So we want to help educate the community on taking care of your animals, get people food for their pets that need it. There's also things like paying for emergency vet bills and things like that. And so that program is called Daisy Cares. And so we really have the animals and the barn here to help just showcase that program that we support in our daily activities.
So do you guys take in like dog food donations too? In the
large amounts of dog food, cat food, litter, things like that. And so at our big distributions and when our partner agencies are getting things, they're able to select that for their clients that they're assisting.
Is that in the same bin though? No, right?
So you can put it in the same bin, but we do have green Daisy Care bins, but you request them all through the food bank.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome. So how often are these filled? Is it students mostly that take advantage of the educational programs, or how would you kind of like book a tour, if you will?
A lot of students, but this is just a regular volunteer shift. So maybe retired individuals, or maybe just someone who wants to learn about gardening. They can come out on a Saturday morning and just work in the garden, work in the greenhouse, help with the animals.
And what is that? What's a typical job like that? Are you planting, pulling weeds, or I think
it just depends on the season.
Unexperienced too, maybe?
We'll take beginners in any volunteer area. So we're now walking towards our newest building on the campus, which is our culinary center. It was built about 2 years ago. It's 60,000 square feet. And we have our main production kitchen located here, as well as our culinary training program and our venison processing facility. So we have a program called Hunters for the Hungry, where hunters can donate venison, so whitetail and mule deer, and they drop them off here. We'll come and pick them up with our refrigerated truck, and we harvest that meat and we serve it to the community members who are needing food. So we have a whole in-house processing facility. Yeah, we're off season right now. That's also a new volunteer shift. You don't need any experience, but we do have volunteers who are helping us skin, debone, put through the grinder, vacuum seal, the whole process.
Do you guys do other stuff with like the pelts and things like that, or is that?
So they work with a couple pet kind of treat and supply places for the horns, I don't know exactly what they have lined up, but we try and use, of course, as much as possible.
That is so cool.
Wow. So this is our children's pavilion. Looks like they're setting up for an event here. So people can rent our spaces. So we have this outdoor space. We have a large event space that can hold over 300 people in our main building. And so people will rent these spaces from us. And we have a social enterprise called Catalyst Catering. And it's a full-blown catering company within the food bank. And so we'll get hired for events either on-site or off-site. Maybe it's a big corporate luncheon or a wedding or anything like that. And we will cook the food, and the proceeds from that fund our culinary training program, which is here in front of us. It's 11:34, so I think they might be on lunch break, but this is where the students come and they go through the program. And so back here this is our production kitchen. We can peek our heads in, but we have to put it.
I was gonna
if
say,
you want
we
to put a
gotta
hair mat
safety up.
on. So we're right between volunteer shifts right now. So we have one that starts at 9 a.m. and one that starts at 1 p.m. So this is right when the morning shift ended. But this is where we're preparing mostly meals for children. So we work with the schools for breakfast and lunches. So we're working to prepare those meals for tomorrow. And so you can see, you know, kind of looking in here, we have the labels, prepping all the sandwiches. And we goes through, you know, it gets sealed. And so we work with our nutrition, health, and wellness team to make sure that all the food and meals we're preparing are up to FDA requirements for the health standards for our kids that are getting them.
And then do schools just volunteer and say, hey, we're in need, or how do they go about signing up for, like, to get food services? Or
So we have a whole children's program, works with the school districts. These are like the coolers that they all are going to get loaded in, the hot boxes they get loaded in, and this team's out early in the morning getting the food to those kids. I'm going to sneak us around to the venison processing.
we'll sneak.
We're going to go through this backwards. So this is the end of the process. So on the other side of the building, you could drop your deer off. So we need the deer to be field dressed and have your tag with you. You can drop the field dressed deer off 24/7. We'll give you the code.
Oh, wow.
Each
Okay.
part of the process is locked, so the building's secure. But drop the deer off field dressed. Then we skin the deer, debone the deer, and then the deer comes here once it's in beautiful strips of meat. And we put it through our different grinders into 2-pound bags. We vacuum seal it and we deep freeze it. So this is that end process where we're grinding it. Here's the freezer. This is where we're vacuum sealing it. So you kind of can go from, you know, one side, load it up, the other side, load it up. Now we're gonna go to the deboning room. But this is a volunteer shift, which is really neat, if that's for you. No experience necessary. This is the deboning room. We have our hanging cooler back there. It can hold over 150 deer. And this is the drop-off room. So this is where anyone can come and drop off the deer. And we'll actually exit through here.
That it's open 24/7.
So this is our farm all back here. And it goes all the way past kind of where the eye can see. So the best way to get involved is just going to safoodbank.org, and we have all the different ways to give. So food, so starting a food drive, time, all of our volunteer shifts, money, donating. That's something someone can do from anywhere in the world. They can create a virtual fundraiser and set a goal and try and raise funds, and just tagging us and spreading our mission, and just spreading, I think, really just that there is hunger in the community. And I think that hunger, you know, your neighbor facing hunger can look like anything. So people kind of have maybe a stereotype thought of what someone looks like who's facing hunger, and I can tell you firsthand, it's, you know, someone not down your street or that you see, you know, out and about, and you just never know what someone's going through or why. And so just, you know, having this network here to help support them through their time of need.
Is there a particular story you guys love to share? Like, oh, is it impact numbers? Is it, you know, knowing kids aren't going hungry at lunch? Like, there's so many, I guess, for me, like, huge wins. Just what I've learned today, I didn't even know that you guys had, right?
Yeah.
Is there one that sticks out to you? You're like, oh, the reason I love coming to work today is like X or Y.
Well, I think the reason I love coming to work for Day is we actually are making a huge impact, and we run so lean. So, like, volunteer times, dollars donated, 2% overhead. Like, we're
That's
making
crazy low.
We're so efficient, and so people giving to us actually is making a really, really big impact. And being the director of philanthropy, it makes it an easy sell when working with individuals and our corporate partners because their dollars go so far. And I think, you know, the other reason is just the amount of people that we're helping. I think the hard part is we are always in a state of urgency. We are always needing money. We're always needing food. We're always needing volunteer hours. And so I think the hard part for me is how do we, it's there. The need is there in the community. And, no child should go to bed hungry. No senior should go to bed hungry or not know where their meals are going to come from. And so I think just really expressing and showcasing those different stories and that urgency that San Antonio and the 28 counties around us that we're serving really needs your help.
Thanks for watching. That's going to be everything today. I hope you enjoyed this backstage tour of the San Antonio Food Bank. Please take a moment to like and subscribe so we can keep doing more of these videos to show you all of the amazing nonprofits in your area. Also, massive thanks to the entire staff at the San Antonio Food Bank for letting me come make this video and take a tour. We'll see y'all next time.